The first thing that you should know about my friend Mrs. Filholm is that she's an optimist. She just can't help but look on the bright side. Though it's true, she often cries. Those tears are just as often tears of joy as they are something else. In fact, just last week, when Mrs. Filholm was listening to an episode of this very podcast, she broke into tears of happiness. The second thing you should know about Mrs. Filholm is that she is a self-described fun hog. Her eyes light up at the very idea of a caper, like jumping in a frozen lake or driving 3 hours just to photograph a llama race. If there's a good time to be had, Mrs. Filholm is always there.
The first thing you should know about my friend Andrew is that when asked to tell something fascinating or surprising about himself, his standard answer is, "My brother was a bull rider on the rodeo circuit." Talking about himself makes Andrew physically uncomfortable. I've seen it. He breaks out in a sweat, his eyes start darting around, and he changes the subject to anything else, which I find very funny. For his quarter-century birthday, I made Andrew listen to a list I made of 25 fascinating or surprising things about himself, and it was pretty brutal. The next thing you should know about Andrew is that it was his idea to make this podcast, which seems like at least some talking about himself with me. Maybe it's a form of exposure therapy, or maybe it's torture. Either way, we all get to listen to him suffering.
Welcome to Half My Age, a weekly show in which a 25-year-old adult and a 50-year-old child help each other make sense of the world.
Okay, those were good opening. That's good. Okay, so we're going to start with the cold opening every time as an homage. That is an homage, our cold open
To SNL?
Well, having a cold open, yeah. To having a cold open at all is an homage to SNL. How do you know that?
Because I've seen SNL.
How do you know that that's
The cold open?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a thing because all of the YouTube videos of SNL things are SNL cold open, Jim Carrey, or SNL cold open, whatever. That's how they're labeled and titled.
Do you know how significant it was and the meaning of it in television history?
Just because it slides right in and you may not even know that it's a comedy show.
You certainly don't know you're watching late night TV in the 70s and some weird thing happens without, and of course the standard, especially at that time in television, was full-on theme song that basically sets up often a story, right? A narrative,
Sure.
Sets up the occasion for the show and has a lot of montage. Oh my gosh, it was the 70s at the time. TV
Right. If you're in the
famous.
70s and you're watching TV, you're not able to choose what's on the television in the way you are today. That opener is hugely important because it's got to suck you in so that you know what's going on. Maybe this is the first time you've seen the show. Maybe it's just not something you watch all the time. That has to do a lot of work for the show.
That's right. And it was so gosh darn formulaic that it was comforting, and you sit down, you know what's going to happen. And Saturday Night Live famously opened with, what they were called, the not ready for primetime players. This is so not interesting to anybody but me, but do you know the very first cold open? Do you know their very first launch?
No, what was it?
Oh my God, I'm going to look it up to make sure I'm right. John Belushi. It's so stupid. Yeah, the Wolverines. I'm right. You got it? I'll do it. I'll grab this URL. I'm not going to talk you through it. Everybody either knows it or can go look it up. The first cold open of Saturday Night Live was so bizarre and so stunning. What are we actually watching? It's pretty trippy. And that was the brand. SNL cold opening. It's an homage to that. But no, our personal cold openings are an homage to This American Life podcast episode, which we have discussed and I assigned as homework for each of us to, because I think it's a good, no kidding, that's a great character study in this this template.
It's so much fun.
Isn't it fun?
I love that. And
the first thing and the next thing that you should know with 4 sentences of exposition. It's our homework, and that's how we're going to open every week.
I think it's so good.
And as you said, if we ever run out of the first thing you should know about my friend,
we're done.
We're done. That's how we know we have done our job. We've brought the ruckus. We can close up shop. That's what's going to happen.
So I want you to tell me about your computer experience since we last spoke.
I think I don't have this thing backed up.
Okay.
I got to figure out Backblaze for this thing. I haven't hooked. I don't know. I mean, I was just gonna say, well, I haven't plugged my phone into it, so it's certainly not backing up my phone. It probably is. I don't know. Okay, two things that I have to say that are maybe interesting. One is we promised to watch for a week that touch bar
Yeah.
and see about the opportunities to interact with it. What are you feeling? Do you got anything on that?
Not a single thing.
Oh, interesting.
I've used my computer quite a bit in the last week, but old habits die hard. I'm not looking at my keyboard, so the touch bar goes totally unnoticed, except for I have noticed sometimes I'll be furiously typing away. I'm really focusing on what I'm doing, and somehow a finger slips up there and touches something. Have you experienced that?
I have not. I mean, I heard that a lot as a criticism of the touch bar. I have not had that.
I was filling out a big web form. I don't remember if I was buying something or if I was applying for something, but I had a lot of content entered on this page. And when you're in Chrome, the touch bar, two buttons on the left next to escape are your back and your forward keys. So if you want to go back a page, I accidentally touched the back button and all of my form content was deleted. Yeah. So my experience with the touch bar, I'm not angry at it. I don't hate it yet. But it doesn't get out of the way like you would think it's supposed to.
Yeah. Interesting. Nope, I haven't had that experience, but I did hear that as a criticism a lot. And even the fact that you could hit the escape key too easily. I have only had to hit my escape key once in the
What were
past
you
week.
escaping?
I was in Squarespace getting to my
Yeah.
login credentials. And it was actually like, oh yeah, that's my touch bar. It's kind of pleasant to hit that non-haptic response. I kind of liked it. But I have not had that experience. I today paid attention. So I work, I don't think I should admit some things about my work.
Tell me about that workflow.
Well, I work in Pages. I really do. It's just so fast for me, and I know it's not good practice, whatever. I was working in Pages, and when you click, so that touch bar works exactly as promised in terms of when it has different functionality for, like, if I click a text box, then that's an image. If I click a text box, it gives me options. I can, and it's pretty user-friendly. I can see that thing means like I'm going to now adjust the border of that box. I think this thing means I'm going to adjust the fill. And it's all of these little touchy things. I don't get why I would use it. I don't get how that would integrate into, I could kind of see changing the border of a box by touching a button, hitting a slide. I could kind of see that.
I think that there are use cases where it's handy.
Yeah.
I don't think that those use cases are things that are well integrated. I don't think the software supports it well yet.
I don't think so yet either. I don't get what it's for. I still think it's probably going to go away. So I mostly ignore it. I am still actually on my new computer. One thing is funny is the touchpad.
Yeah.
I'm a little clumsy with it still. It does not feel exactly like my touchpad on my older computer. I don't know what that's about.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Okay.
I think on your old computer, this is kind of in the weeds.
Yeah, but it's important to me because I move a lot of boxes around with my fingers all day long.
Your old computer was actually, the touchpad was on a hinge.
Oh, it actually moved, right?
It physically moved, and depending on where you like to click, either towards the top or towards the bottom, dictated how it felt. And this one is just a big, solid sheet of glass with some kind of thing that vibrates underneath it.
And it does respond no matter where I touch it, the same.
It should. It's supposed to.
And that is different.
And it's also
Okay, so I'm learning that, and I was messing around this afternoon, doing design work, moving boxes, even doing audio work, like moving bars, moving.
Can I recommend something?
Yeah.
So if you go in your system preferences into the trackpad section.
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
see.
We are doing some fascinating reading.
Nope, it's not in here. It's actually in accessibility.
So you said that last week. You
And
mentioned it might
that
be
three
there.
finger drag is so good for just moving things around. If you're working with text boxes and you need to
is
resize
it?
things, it is in mouse and trackpad, and then trackpad options, enable dragging, three finger drag. And then that way,
Hold on.
if you
Mouse
do,
and trackpad. Enable mouse keys, spring loading delay.
at the very bottom, trackpad options.
Oh, trackpad options. Sorry, you said that.
Enable dragging. Make sure that's checked.
Got it.
And then make sure that the drop down says 3-finger drag.
I have it marked on without drag lock. That is the problem.
So then
That's why it feels weird.
if you do 3 fingers, it's the same as a click and hold. And then you can just move things. You can drag them. And I use that all the time.
I'm used to using 2 fingers, right?
I don't know what you're used to.
I am.
It's honestly.
I see what I'm used to doing. Okay. Wait, what? Click and 3-finger. What? What are you telling me?
Just
click on that.
put all-
I see. So I got to click.
You don't have to click.
You don't?
You just rest all 3 fingers.
Really?
And move.
Oh, I see.
I think that is so smooth and so
All right.
good feeling.
Okay.
It makes me really happy every time I do it.
You don't understand the layers of boxes that I work with. Clicking with 3 fingers is preferable. It's very easy for me in my design work to click on a box that I've been working with layers. Okay, that's great. I've made that change, and I like it, and I will. Why can't I grab that box? Okay, I think I can work that into my kinesthetic experience with this computer, and it might just work out fine. All right, thanks for that. That's good advice.
So we've got another thing. And I also want to ask about your hub. Tell me, have you used your hub at all?
Not one time.
Okay, that's
Here's
good.
something I realized that I might want it for, which would be, like I said, a discrete use where it's sitting on a desktop, but slide clicker when I'm presenting.
Oh, sure. You've got to plug in a little USB dongle.
Yeah.
They do
So
make.
that's no problem.
There are a lot of Bluetooth slide clickers, so you don't necessarily need your hub.
Huh. Gosh darn it, though, Andrew. I have invested money in a sweet slide clicker over the years, and I'm sure there is
Do you
a
have a
sweet
good one?
Bluetooth one. It's fine. I kind of long for one. I told you, the place I'm staying now, I have a Roku television
Yep.
that I'm using very rarely. I don't need, although I got to tell you one other thing about this computer. I had a vision today of someday when I'm settled, I'm going to just hook this thing up to I do want a giant monitor. I really do.
Yeah.
The design work I do and the detail work that I do, I can't wait to get a giant monitor, but that's cool. But that needs to sit on a desktop where I work.
Right. You need to know where
someday
you're
I
going to
can
put
have
it.
that. Yeah, and I don't have that yet. Anyway, so I've got this Roku, and it has one of those remote controls that is ergonomically nice. Like it makes sense. Like the volume is on. Like I think it's a gaming design.
Huh.
Ish, inspired by gamers. So like the volume is it cradles in your hand nicely, and the volume is a thumb on the up and down buttons on the side.
Yep.
Naturally, it's just like kind of more. And I think that there are slide clickers.
Feels
that
like
do
it was
that.
designed for use by people.
Yeah, and I certainly could use an improvement on slide clicker in terms of that, because when I watch myself presenting, I do sometimes. I'm looking down at that clicker to make sure I've got the right button because I can't quite tell. There
Yep.
are things you can do about that. Put a little button on the. But I could use a better slide clicker, but I just don't want to spend money on all this other crap. So that was
many
one
things.
thing that I realized. But no, I haven't even gotten the hub out of its pleather case once. I think that the truth is my use of this machine almost always and certainly daily is going to not need the hub.
Yeah. I don't think you will.
Now, I do want to talk about something that I've been saving for the show.
Tell me about it.
Every day, are you getting the dialogue box? Get to know your Mac. Take a quick tour to learn more about your new MacBook Pro.
On the very first day, I said, don't bother me again.
Interesting. I keep saying, remind me tomorrow, because I want to walk through it, and maybe I'm going to learn a lot about that.
Do you want to
touch
do it
bar.
now?
I thought about it. Do you think? I don't know how to do it. It's not.
Oh, you don't know how to
reminding
bring
me.
it up?
Sure don't.
I don't know either.
But I could search it. But no, I don't really want to do it. But okay, I'll do it. I'll do it this week as my homework. I'll take the quick tour and tell you what I learned, because I bet you there's going to be some sweet stuff on there about how to use that touch bar and integrate it, because I can't even imagine. I can't imagine how that would be useful to me, to slide my fingers up there and touch that versus a key that I already know. I don't know. Anyway, I will follow up on my Get to Know Your Mac, take a quick tour to learn more about your new MacBook Pro. I really don't know how to call it up. I bet I could figure it out, but I'll wait till the next time it prompts me, and I'll schedule it. I'll let you know. I bet I'll learn some tricks and tips. Hub, nothing. Touch bar, nothing. Do you want to go? This is embarrassing to me. Last week you said you hoisted your own petard, and I did not recognize the Shakespearean reference.
So
That's a little bit hard for me to admit.
I'm not that familiar with the Bard. I've read a couple of his things, but not much. But Hoist with his own petard is a allusion to Hamlet, and you missed it.
I missed it. And the thing is, it's not a deep cut. It's
not a deep
metaphorical. I don't know it. I don't know it. And it's from a funny little speech in the play about some very interesting characters. And I didn't know it. I was embarrassed about that. Yeah, so it's from Hamlet, and it means to blow yourself up. Right?
Yeah. I understand that a petard is literally a bomb.
Yeah, it's literally a bomb. And yep, it's a speech where Hamlet's talking to his mom. I looked it up, and he's talking about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, whom he is scheming against. And yeah, I was embarrassed I didn't get that. That's all. That's the follow-up on that. I suck. It has been a long time since I've had to or gotten to talk about Shakespeare. I do want to talk about your birthday because tonight we are drinking a beer that is special to you, which I purchased exclusively for your birthday celebration podcast tonight.
How do you pronounce that?
Pilsner Urquell. How do you pronounce it?
I've always just kind of mumbled it, and they always know. Because I don't know,
What's hard about those
Pilsner
phonics?
or that's what's hard about it. Pilsner Urquell. I don't know.
¿Qué pasó? Nada. I see nothing wrong with that. Well, and this gave me an occasion, which I will talk about briefly, to go back to the liquor store with a very specific task. I got to walk in there and say, Pilsner Urquell, like a savant who didn't know how to speak.
You just yelled at him like Rain Man?
I sure did. Well, what had happened was I walked into the liquor store on purpose to follow up for our podcast about my haircut, and it took me by surprise because there were two people working behind the counter.
Oh my goodness. How did you deal with that?
I yelled, Pilsner Urquell.
Oh my God, what a spaz.
Such a spaz.
Who are you?
I don't know. So anyway, there's that. Happy birthday.
Thank you. When was the last time you had a spaz moment like that? That can't. I mean.
Oh, that's funny.
Was it when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, maybe. Andrew, I haven't dated since Seinfeld was on the air, so that's going to be an issue. But that's a different story altogether. Happy birthday. Got you your special beer, which is special to you because when you spent your semester abroad in
Prague.
And we talked a lot during those days because I was building a website and you needed to help me remotely, and you did. So I knew that was special to you, and it gave me an excuse to sit at the liquor store and be smooth as polyester. Pilsner Urquell. And the guy who I didn't know said, it's over there. And then he said, we only have 12 packs, and they were on the bottom floor. And I was wearing a...
Oh, goodness.
I was wearing a kind of short skirt, and then it felt awkward. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay, carry on.
I'm embarrassed for you. I'm so sorry.
Embarrassing, but it's all...
That makes my gift so special. Look at what it cost you.
I know.
Not just money.
Mm-hmm. That's crap.
Dignity.
Dignity. Okay, so Andrew, lead us to our main topic. What do you got?
Let's talk about... do you want to talk about making a budget?
I mean, okay.
Okay.
Sure. You got to lead me.
How personal... Are you prepared to talk about how much you spend on different things? I'll start it this way.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. How do you talk about without dollars?
You went to your financial advisor and you said, hey, dearest financial advisor, I'm getting a divorce. What do I need to be concerned about? And they had to sit you down and explain to you, this is what a US dollar looks like. This is how it's used.
Hold
on.
Well, okay.
And your homework was to look at your bank account every now and again.
Okay. Nope.
No.
Actually, back up. We haven't yet gotten to the point where someone has sat me down and said, this is what a dollar looks like and this is what a budget is. I have gone to my financial planner to do the paperworky things of how do we split our assets and make sure they are even, and what legal paperwork, because when you split your, I believe it's a 401k.
Sure.
And you split that, the IRS very much cares to make sure that you're divorced. So they are not interested in letting you withdraw money and move it places without
Sure.
giant penalties. So I went to my financial advisor specifically to only talk about these things with the caveat that, oh my God, soon I need to make a budget, but don't worry, Andrew's helping me. And yep, I need to make a budget. But my financial advisor is awesome and cares about quality of life because, I mean, I think money is a false construct and I don't care about it and I don't want to talk about it. And it's always made me uncomfortable and banks
This is
scare
going to be
me.
a hard episode.
It's so bad. But he has always told me since I was too young to pay attention, but thank goodness for my husband who took care of me, who did pay attention. He has always said money is not, there's no value to money except it buys you freedom and happiness. So he is very much like, right now you need to make some decisions that are not so, some of your decisions right now are not financial. You need to spend some of the money that you have and you are okay. You got a little bit of a cushion here to keep yourself, comfortable, to keep your family comfortable, to make good decisions for yourself and grow. And then soon it will be time to make some real decisions about, what I do with my divorce settlement, basically. Do I buy a house? Do I rent a house? Do I what? And then that becomes what is a tenable amount of mortgage, or rent or whatever. I'm not quite there yet because I don't know what's next and I'm not ready, but it's certainly in broad strokes. My God, talk to me about a budget. And what does a US dollar mean again?
So there's, you know what a US dollar is. You know that you can trade a certain number of US dollars, usually like $1 million for a package of gum or something like that. But the way I think about it, the way I used to think about it and the way I'm going to be thinking about it again real soon is, what does this dollar cost me in time? If I make this many dollars per hour, how much am I giving up to have this thing? I always think about money in that way as, what are the other things I could do if I spent this money on something else? So that's where my mind goes first, and that's a broken, sick mind.
Is it?
Yeah, I studied finance and I love numbers. That's a very different thing than most people.
It is. I feel like that's not broken and sick. That's an admirable and that the deficiency in me is like no ability to do that. I don't know.
Well, I don't know whether most of our readers are closer to you or closer to me. But I obsess over this stuff and I check. I use an application called Mint, and Mint pulls in all of your bank accounts, investment accounts, assets like your car and your house and that sort of thing. And it puts it in one place so that it's very easy to tell whether those numbers are getting bigger or smaller month by month, week by week.
I like that. And I do understand. I'm starting to grok the idea of, money growing is a cool feeling.
It's so cool.
My grandfather, who, great guy, raised 9 kids, homesteader, literally great American hero, built himself up from nothing to be, I think invested early in Microsoft too up there in the Pacific Northwest. I'm not kidding. And became a millionaire because of that. I'm not kidding. I think that's right. Anyway, he used to tell us, I don't know how often he said it, but we have him on video saying, when we were interviewing about his life, if there's any magic in the world, it's
compound interest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gosh, how Mr. Banks could we get? Andrew, Mary Poppins is opening soon. We got to get that on our calendar. Right. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Banks? Oh, there's that wonderful song, right?
Yeah, he works in the bank.
Tuppence invested in the bank. So my grandfather believed that was magic in the world, was compound interest.
It's there's an idea that I think my grandpa instilled in me, which is that if you take this money that you have and you save it, your money is actually going to go out there and make more money. Yeah. It's the idea of having an employee without having to put up with the stresses of personal issues and all of those things.
Sure.
There is literally something out there in the world that is working for you, and all you have to do is not screw with it.
Not screw with it. You know who's been riding hard on that in radio advertising? Because I do listen to actual radio in my car. Is there's I can't think of doesn't matter. Rent your house. Rent your house. Don't be a house flipper where you have to go through all of those crazy fees when you turn over and sell a house. Just rent it, and the radio ad is very much presenting that option. Like your house can be an employee for you, just a cash register. That's actually the metaphor they use. It could be a cash register. Just bringing in cash flow.
The idea, if we put it in finance terms instead of lay people terms, they talk about passive income. The idea that there are ways you can make money without having to do any work. But the reality is you have to put in work in the beginning to get the money to do the things.
Right? Okay, I want to tell you two things that I think are important to this conversation and actually might get a little bit emotional for me, but in a good way. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, this is a total diversion. I don't know if we've talked about this. How long do you think it's going to take before I cry on the air?
I think it's already happened, but due to some creative editing, you've never cried on the air.
But no, for like in normal conversation, okay, I got a little verklempt at your cold opening, so never mind it. Not mistake. Okay,
you're welcome.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a crier. I think every time I'm at my therapist, I clean out I think it's a timing thing. I happen to take the last tissue. I am a weeper. I mean, I really am. Happy tears, sad tears. I'm just a crier. You just go on. The best thing in theater school was when a mentor and director of mine said, I see that you're crying. I'm just going to keep talking to you and pretend you're not crying. And I was like, yes, you get me. Yes, please go. This liquid is coming out of my face. It's out of my control. Talk to me like a normal person and pretend you don't see the
That's so funny.
Precipitation coming out of my eyes. Okay, I have two things to tell you about money. Mm-hmm. Two disparate things. One, when you're talking right now about like, hey, in finance terms, we learned that it's this. I loved the little amount of getting to walk through business school with you from your perspective.
I love business school.
I loved business school too, as you took it. I could not imagine that's what business school was.
No.
It's about metaphors. You learn all these cool things. I hated it so much. The idea of talking about your money working for you was so distasteful to me when I was 20 years old. I mean, I was wrong. I don't know what to do with that. Like maybe now I could take a business school. I sure could for free. Where I work, I could go over and take one of your little metaphorical business school courses and learn some things. I'm just saying that that's like a lovely opening because the thought of talking about money from my earliest days, I don't even quite know why. I mean, this horrifies my parents. My family of origin is very frugal and very financially savvy. And they sit around and talk about their finances and all. I don't know quite why I had to have this adolescent rebellious attitude toward money, but I always have. So I'm just saying there's a little crack in that armor and like, I'm interested. Okay, Mint, bring it on. Let's talk about it.
Well, to build on that, I don't know what Emily Post says about talking about money, but for some people, that's the first thing they want to talk about. For a lot of people, it is so gross and icky, and they want nothing to do with it.
That is how I was raised in terms of you do not talk about money. Oh golly, no, not to other people. But like mom and dad would sit and discuss their budget at the dining room table. But certainly you don't speak about that to others. And I think I was raised with some amount of shame or whatever, that there's sort of, if you don't have money, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just saying there might be a crack in that armor for me, and that maybe it's fun to talk about money and to now, see, the thing that I have going on right now is I have some accounts that are making money, and then I have some accounts that I'm just spending from, and they're my, I know that's stupid. You should put all of your money and make it work for you. But right now I have an account that is specifically not really working for me, and it's affording my life. But I am also understanding, that one little account that's making some money, that's kind of cute. That's kind of interesting. That feels like, okay. So I'm saying, I'm leaning into it.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
While you're working at the university, which is affording, I don't know if it's affording, but it's a humongous tuition discount for your son who's attending the university.
Affording his education there. That was not an option to him without it.
Do you know whether you're cash flow positive or negative? Do you know whether you make more money than you spend?
Right now, in the past 3 months?
Yes.
Negative.
Negative. Sure. So that's a key component of your budget. Your budget is not going to work that way.
Okay,
so
so
we've
I
got
want to
to
back up
figure
to
out.
I know, but I want to back up to my second point.
Okay.
You were talking earlier about something that made me write this down. I don't exactly remember what, but I'm pretty sure it was about pluses and minuses,
Sure.
credits and debits. And so here's an example of that for me in my own life that I've paid attention to lately. Okay?
Yep.
And I think it's probably in the right direction, but it's so remedial. I should probably get a pedicure because my toes are gross. This has been a 4-year, it's not unrelated to the Squirt Project, I suppose, but I don't, that is one place that I can see. Would I rather spend $30 on sitting in a chair, not really comfortable, getting my toes done, and then the outcome is great. I'm supposed to have a pedicure. My toes are like gross and I have slave feet. That is not the one. That is one of the places in my life that I understand this sort of like, what is my money worth? What would I rather do with it? $30 of a pedicure? Meh.
So
I don't get pedicures. I do my own toes.
I've got a lot of feedback on this. The first thing I will tell you is that getting a pedicure never makes good financial sense.
Yeah, okay, right.
However, as your financial advisor told you, there's a distinction between, personal care and financial decisions and all of these other things, Sometimes it makes good sense to you and your health, mental, physical, whatever, to get a pedicure. But it may not check all the boxes
that is
for
one
finance.
place that I'm saying, like, I get it. Like that, that is not worth enough. Okay, I'm sorry, but now is the time.
Whiskers.
The cat has made his appearance. Sorry, can you write it? All right, pedicures. I've got it on my note. We got to come back to it. The cat is sitting here as though waiting for us to introduce him. Good evening, Whiskers. Tweaker, Rocky.
Oh,
See?
He just took a bow.
He sure did.
He says, I'm here.
I'm here. I put my paw on the... Okay, the cat,
Poor
ladies
Whiskers.
and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Please don't address our audience. It sickens me.
Oh.
How fun.
I know.
I laugh every time Merlin says that. It's so funny.
I know, but we don't have an audience, so it's ironical. That's funny. This cat, for our viewers at home, it's been suggested that I describe him more in more detail because he's a character in the show. He currently is wearing, God damn it, Andrew, it's funny. We
so
got to
funny.
go there.
This poor cat.
He's wearing a cone, but unlike sort of dog cones that I've seen that are sort of plexiglass around and just like one little cone. I don't mean plexiglass. Whatever
Yeah, it's a sheet of plastic. It's a hard sheet of plastic.
This thing here is like a flower petals design. He has a blue with white piping flower around his head. It's clearly making... Why does he have it? Explain
Well, so...
to the readers at home why
Oh my goodness, you're still addressing them.
That's the point of we have to describe the cat. I've been told that that's part of the thing I got to do.
So Whiskers became a character on this podcast when you accused him of being a meth addict. Yeah. He has patches all over his back where he's licked the fur off.
It's clear why he has the cone. Don't lick your fur.
He has the cone so he doesn't lick his fur.
Why do we care if he licks his fur, though, really? Who is it hurting?
It doesn't affect anyone in particular. I mean, he does. He licks it till it bleeds, and then he bleeds on things. But it's not that bad. The reality is that it's Delaney and I, have the goal of having a cat with fur.
Okay, so it's about you. It's serving your needs.
This cone is for us.
Okay, I gotta take a picture.
And it's really funny, huh?
Let's do it. Yeah, it is really funny. Look, he's so sad.
It's a hot look.
Clearly depressed. Take a picture. Because that can be our recurring show art. Hi, flower petal. Oh, you're so weird. I don't want to.
Whiskers.
I don't like petting cats.
That's so funny.
All right.
Can we talk more about pedicures?
Pedicures. So the investment and the return on investment, and that's what I've been talking about.
There's zero return on investment.
No, there is some
financially.
Right.
There's some emotional health, there's some physical health. But what I want to tell you about pedicures,
yeah,
that is the best deal in the world. I much like yourself, have disgusting feet. And the idea that I can force someone to touch them and make them better for money, it's like getting away with murder.
How are you gonna? Do you have a formula for this? Because to me, I feel you. Like, so I know that some people feel that way. I do not. Like, that is one where I would rather do my BabyFoot thing and peel off my own gross show notes and putting that in there. That is a beautiful project. If we have any women listeners, I recommend it so highly. I can't tell you the joy I get out of peeling my own dead skin off my feet. I have super bad calluses. That's just a true story. I'm going to put in baby feet. Okay, so I get it that you would say that is worth the $30 for you, and I have decided this is maybe one of the few things I've decided. I don't think that's worth it to me. I'm happy to do my own feet most of the time.
Interesting.
I'm happy to cut my own hair.
Well,
Hate that. Hate spending money and spending time.
have you
sitting in a
considered
haircut
that
chair.
every third haircut you go and have a professional do it, or every third pedicure? Like, could you budget it that way?
Yes,
Does
and
that work in your brain?
That works in my brain for pedicures, and I sort of admit that I probably have to go have one professional pedicure before I go to Maui. But I'm not doing a fancy one because I'm going to beat it up in Maui. What I do on Maui is go hard.
Why would you do it before Maui and not after? Why wouldn't you come back to clean feet?
Because you're going to look at your toes all week in the sand and take.
Yeah, but you just said you're going to beat it up. It's going to look bad anyway.
Yep, you're right. I might just do myself thing. Okay.
Oh
so
my
yeah,
God,
but
we're
in
helping
general,
people, and these people are you.
Obviously, all we care about
Ruckus
is bringing
brat.
the ruckus brat. Okay, I have considered that the time to get it would be after. Yes, in the pedicure world, I can supplement with every third if I want. I also just find I don't give that much shit about. I don't enjoy the experience of having someone touch my feet. No, I don't.
I don't either.
Okay, then I thought you just said it was like getting away with murder.
It is like getting away with
having
murder.
somebody clean up those feet.
So gross.
I don't think you're as limber as I am either. I can get down on my own toes, no problem. I mean, for some people, it's physically uncomfortable to do a pedicure. I put my feet over my head, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Are you? Can you do that? Is it uncomfortable to clip your toenails? You don't strike me as being a super limber guy.
No, I'm not.
Balance extraordinaire. Limber, most, whatever. Okay, so pedicures, no. Haircut, I know I should do that. I should pay every third time.
No, your hair looks great. And you're getting compliments on it from the liquor store guy.
Come on now. The truth is that I also have a super cheap solution for that. Floyd's Barbershop. Show notes.
That's a good question. Do you think that spending money on a fancy haircut gets you a better quality haircut?
Used to.
You don't believe it anymore? I don't believe it at all.
Nope. Used to think so. Bought into that shit, and here's what I came down to. So boring. I really like Floyd's Barbershop. Not only is it cheap and non-committal, and you can go whenever you want. You don't have to schedule an appointment. It doesn't take all day. They listen to what I say. When I say, no, cut it kind of like a faux hawk so I can do this thing, they don't go, fancy haircut places seem invested in my image in a way that serves them. And they tell me about myself. And for years I was like, they cut my hair like a suburban mom. I'm gonna look like a suburban mom no matter what, but I promise you, I want it cut like a boy. I want this cut like a boy haircut. I want a full hawk. And they don't believe me. Floyd's, they're like, rock and roll. I don't care, whatever, lady, fine. We'll
They do 12 rock and roll haircuts a day.
Yeah, they sure do. They bring the ruckus. I'm a big fan of that. However, it is not a financial drain. It is so cheap to get your haircut at a barber. I can go to a barber because I have a boy's haircut. I resent the time. I hate everything about it. I cut my own hair. By the way, that is not less investment time-wise.
No.
It probably is if you take into account getting to the haircut place and la la la. But it's not fast when I cut my own hair. But that is just a place where I've gone, I don't care. No, we have to make a real budget. I understand that. I understand that I need to get my head around what I bring in a month. By the way, I know what that is now. That's a step in the right direction.
That is a step in the right direction.
I didn't know that 4 months ago when Kim asked me, how much do you bring in? And we are going to need to look.
So do you know you've got half of the equation covered?
Knowing how much comes in?
Yep.
The part of that equation is that we're going to need to look at my like what gets taken out of my paycheck because I have a lot taken out right now. But I mean, I have good stuff like my TIAA-CREF account.
Yeah.
The cat's freaking tail is between your pop filter and your microphone. It was gentle how you moved him down. You love that cat.
He really likes to get in there. He's leaned into his role as a character on the show.
He's kind of cute, but I don't like touching him. You do. You like that cat.
Don't tell anybody. Stop.
He's going to cuddle you all day long when you're working from
You know the
home
funny
now.
thing?
What?
When he sleeps with his head on my girlfriend's head, like on her cheek.
We can say her name.
OPSEC.
No, she's cool with it. She's honored. Sweet little Delaney. He sleeps with her head on her head.
No. His cheek on her cheek. They sleep cheek to cheek. Face cheek.
I can't believe that doesn't make you sneeze.
Well, I sleep as far away as I can.
That's not true. I've seen... You can't sleep very far away in the size of this apartment. We can cut this if we want, but what if for 3 months I did live in this complex? That might be fun. Right?
Right?
We could be neighbors like fucking Seinfeld. What if I was Kramer or Newman? I might become Newman and you'd be like, hello, Filholm. What if I lived in your complex for 3 months?
It'd be so much fun.
Gosh darn it. That would be hilarious.
I don't know how I'd get a damn thing done. I'd have to lock the door.
That's not true, Andrew. I have boundaries. So the good news is that I know how much money's coming in right now.
Uh-huh.
I also believe that if I put a bit of effort into it and I need to be focused, and you and I will both, you know what? You and I are both going to be on a similar trajectory here for the next, let's say 6 months to a year of, we got a lot of options out there. Where do we put our focus in the best ROI? Right? If I get a couple of Mama Bear gigs a month, my income actually is affected a lot.
Yeah, it's huge. It makes a big
what
difference.
I was saying is that I need you to sit with me and look at my benefits, what's taken out that's probably not worth it. I think I'm paying too much, for example, for dental care. I was putting in kind of the maximum amount for dental insurance, assuming that 2 weeks ago when I went to the dentist, I was going to need major. I'm not kidding, because I had pain, and it's like, oh, if you have pain, you're going to need a root canal. I didn't. I think I'm paying too much for dental for myself and my son. I need you to look at what's coming out of my paycheck because it's probably obscene.
Huh. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Because part of the thing that this little job that I have right now, which does not developed world problems, I am more privileged and lucky and blessed, #blessed, than 98% of people in the world, but I don't make a great salary. And part of the reason is because we were getting this tuition discount for my son, and it was play money. It was supplemental money because I was a married woman with a husband who has a nice salary. So now living on that is going to be a little bit tough. I would like to believe it's not forever.
No, I don't think it is forever, and there's certainly ways we can make it work.
Yeah.
So you've got half of the things figured out, which is how much money is coming in, and the other half is if you start paying attention to how much is going out, you start spending your money more consciously, and that you don't mind splurging on things when you know that they'll make you happy, but it makes it much easier to say, you know what, I saw how much that amounts to at the end of the month, and it doesn't give me that much happiness.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And then you can put some kind of, not mathematical, but you can put some kind of formula on that. I will tell you the truth. I'm happy. I'll sign up for Mint, okay? Did you put it in the show notes?
I'd be happy to. It's just mint.com.
I know, but put it in there anyway. Because here's the thing. I'm good at being poor.
Yeah. What a skill.
Tal once said to me, when I pointed this out to him, he said, I get it. You're not good at being rich. And that's true. When I have money, I'm kind of irresponsible with it. Watch how I'm good at a budget. I mean, and you once said to me, I basically live a frugal life. I make decisions like, that pedicure is not worth $30 to me. I would rather, really honest to God, go drink beer, go have a dinner. And I can understand that. That's why I brought up the pedicure. There is that one-to-one. And I've known that for, like I said, probably about 4 years. I was in the fixed mindset, cut the ends off the roast. Ladies of my stature and ladies of my station in life need pedicures. You know, there is that sort of baseline thing with women of my station. I don't know. So I thought that was just kind of a baseline thing I needed. And then I evaluated it and went, I don't really mind doing my own toenails that much. I don't need them to look like art. I just need them to be passable. And that was the reason I brought it up. I remember the moment actually in the summer where I went, $30, like weighing it on the scale. An hour right now where I could go home and listen to a podcast in my own house and do my own nails versus going in public and talking. $30. I could buy something for a friend versus this. So I think that once I get into budget mode, you're going to be impressed by how good I am at it.
You're good at everything. I would not be surprised if you're the best budgeter. But something you said that was very interesting, which is that when you think about pedicures in your brain and you talk about your station and the other ladies you surround yourself with and how for them a pedicure is a necessity, I couldn't help but compare it in my brain to the Skort Project. You made a conscious decision by putting on a skort. You said, there are things that matter and things that don't matter. And I've decided that things would be a lot simpler if I just cared less about what outfit I had on.
Yep.
And I can't help but feel like the pedicure is the same way.
Totally right. And my haircut as well. I remember even discussing this with you, and I never found it for my fingernails, and I just decided to go, I'm an artist. I have ugly hands. I love what my hands do. They're never going to be pretty. But I was looking for the Skort version of fingernail polish. I wish there was something as serviceable as that, like that's just socially acceptable. Because the truth is, when I walk out dressed now, as I said last week, I am not going to be the best dressed girl in the room. I'm not going to be the belle of the ball, but I know I'm acceptable. The Skort Project was not about giving up and saying, I don't give a shit about how I look.
I thought it was about being intentional.
It was about being intentional and dialing it back and being enough and just not mind fucking, forgive my language, the decision of getting dressed in the morning and caring less about it. And I think it has worked. I do feel that exact way about my pedicure and my haircut, as I've told you. I mean, the whole haircut thing, which is now our other character in the podcast, the liquor store guy, which became a character, was, like I said, I was kind of trying to grow it out. I've had lots of cool hair in my life, but I can, honest to God, almost shower and go out of the house and look fine. Not fabulous, but fine. Yeah, that's how I want with a pedicure. I just want to be acceptable because there are women in my circles of friends who will judge you on your pedicure. Let's face it.
When you donned the uniform of the Skort, was that the first time you'd worn a uniform?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You were a Catholic school child. You wore a uniform, and I never did.
One thing that you and I have in common is we both wear a uniform every single day. You wear yours because it was an intentional decision. I wear mine because I really enjoyed going to Catholic school, grade school, middle school, high school, and not having to think about what I put on in the morning. You've got in grade school, it was blue pants and a white shirt. In high school, we had khaki pants or khaki shorts and just some kind of collared shirt for a while. And then they cracked down and they made us buy school branded shirts.
We sure did.
But for me, I mean, I still wear a uniform today. I've got, a pair of slacks on and a t-shirt.
You're literally wearing a Zuckerberg hoodie right now. I'm just saying.
That's right. I went from Catholic school into tech. It's a natural progression.
It totally is. And one of the Skort Project things was like, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Totally. I got ideas to worry about. That is interesting, isn't it? You were used to a uniform. When I started the Skort Project, some of the people I consulted were your classmates, female classmates. I said, how many skorts? The first time I ever put a skort on my body was when the teachers at your high school lost the kickball game or something, which I announced, and the challenge, the reward, the punishment was we had to dress in your school uniforms for a day. Do you remember this?
Vividly.
And I participated fully and wore your little uniform, and I went, shut up. This is the most comfortable I have been all year. They were skorts. They had built-in, you could sit so comfortably. I borrowed a skort from a classmate of yours. I borrowed a little sweater and I came in uniform. And I am not kidding. That was one of the inspirations for the Skort Project is I was like, you girls need to shut up because you are comfortable sitting there and no one can look up your skirt. This is genius. So I consulted some of your classmates. How many do you need?
How many do I need what?
Squirts.
Oh, yeah.
When you wear a skirt every single day, when you're a Catholic school student your whole life, like you were, and you
Do they have
the uniform,
5? Do they have one
Five.
for every day?
4. I think one of our favorite friends of yours said 4, that she got away with 4. And that was about what I shot for when I started the skirt project. I think I started with 7. And then quickly some of them went into like, that's just for working out rotation or whatever. But I consulted these Catholic high school girls who admitted to me, yeah, like you just said, having a uniform is amazing.
So easy.
One of the things I like to think about myself with the Skort Project, Andrew, is that like a nun, I have a habit. Mm-hmm. One of the things that the Skort Project has taught me, which I might have talked about, is I do not trust big ideas.
Why don't you trust big ideas?
You can proclaim all you want.
That sounds like a TED Talk.
No.
It is a TED Talk.
I've submitted it to TED Talks. We got to keep putting that in there. Why I don't trust big ideas is because you can pronounce all you want, what you're going to do with your life, how you're going to change. Blah,
Big
blah.
ideas are made of small habits.
No shit. Daily habits.
Is that from your book?
Maybe.
Beyond Mama Bear.
Or the Skort Project. I literally realized that, like, I have this intention to change the way oh my gosh, it's actually deeper than we have discussed. To change, if I could simplify my closet, can I simplify my life? The answer is yes. If I stop distracting either myself or my audience with loud colors and flowers in my hair, and I just kind of show up as I am, will that be okay? And the answer was yes. So there was this emotional component of putting that away and going daily. And what it took was every single day. I talked about it last week. Sometimes it was scary, like putting on a skirt every day and just, I don't know, it was like such a diversion from my normal way of dressing. And I learned that I don't trust big habits. I don't trust big ideas. Daily habits manifest change. And I like to think of that like a nun. I have my habit. Mm-hmm. You know, nuns wear a habit.
I sure do.
And I wear a habit.
You remember that part where we met at Catholic high school?
I do. There were no nuns there, though. Did you grow up with that? Your elementary had nuns around?
No.
Active? No. I mean, nuns are a fascinating topic. I'm writing it down for a potential future topic because nuns, I wrote down topic. Nuns are interesting. But I consider that I'm exactly like a nun is what I am. I put on my daily habit.
It sounds...
I'm just like a nun.
Do you want me to laugh?
I felt like that was a punchline, yeah. Do you want to talk about Mrs. Maisel? That's a good subtopic.
I haven't watched Mrs. Maisel in a while. I'm behind.
Did you watch the first season all the way through?
Nope.
Second season's out yet. I haven't either finished the first seasons, but I like it now, but I hated it at first, but it's dumb. Okay, mint.com. Okay, so I am happy to be a student, as you know.
So if
we're sign up for that ish.
Since you're in the habit of habits.
Right. Daily habits.
Your homework is to go and register for Mint and connect it to all the things.
Back to my daily habit of looking at my bank account. One of the homeworks I assigned myself in divorce class, which is not
you give yourself
ordered.
Divorce class homework.
Yeah, do you want to know something cute?
Oh my goodness, isn't that what they're supposed to do?
They do. Plenty of it.
And you add on.
Past week, do you know my homework? Did I tell you?
I don't remember if
I had
if
to say no 3 times in a big, bold way, which I did. And I had to, express my anger. So I started that workout program, which I like.
What did you say no to? What are your 3 things? You can't say? OPSEC?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. It was good, though.
Yeah?
It's kind of fun saying no. I told you about one of them earlier tonight. Yep, OPSEC. We're not going to say that.
It is so fun. I think that's a whole topic. Saying no.
I'm not great at it.
It's a muscle. You got to exercise it.
I'm exercising my muscle. And for my anger expression, I'm doing my basic bitch yoga app workout. I like it.
How's that going?
I like it a lot.
Yeah?
I do.
How is it a half hour every day? What is it?
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on it's an app?
It's an app.
Okay.
It's kind of right in my wheelhouse because it's a lot of that. Oh God, it seems so embarrassing. It's 0 impact. Mm-hmm. And so it's
sometimes
a lot
you just need to move, you know?
Literally what I realized. I mean, and I do that every day. I kind of do the salute to the sun almost every day of my life, but just engaging in it a little bit more, like when you bend back or when you bend forward every day and you go, oh my God, I haven't really done that for a couple of days. It's good. It gets the cobwebs out. And this workout that I'm doing, one of these like dumb, see, so that's a thing that like right now I just invested in that. If I work out my budget, I can't afford that. I can't afford $60 for an app I spent to do a workout thing.
You spent $60 for a
I sure did, but here's what
Is
I
that a
also
one
did.
time or is that a recurring?
1 year. 1 year.
That's insane. We should
It's
be
a
making
little
yoga
bit
apps.
We sure should. Because here, it is insane, but you know what
We've
my
got
other
the
option was going to
microphones.
be? Yeah. Yeah, okay.
All right, write that one down.
I was actually going there. We actually have friends who do yoga and we have the mics, but then it would be funny to do a yoga podcast, just you, me, and the cat. It could be a comedy podcast. Yes, I spent $60, but here is
What
how
kind of
I
podcast
justified
do you think
it.
we do?
I'm saying it could be a completely other enterprise. We got to diversify our portfolio.
I see. More shows.
Yeah.
Everyone's crying out. They're saying, why don't you have 3 shows and why isn't one of them yoga?
All of those listeners. Yes, $60 seems insane for a year, but here are my other options. Going and joining a gym.
I'm so glad I've never. First of all, yoga apps aren't something I ask people about. I don't walk up to someone on the street and say, hey, do you work out? And by the way, when you work out, is it via an app?
I know.
But
And are you drinking some pumpkin spice with your workout? It's so basic.
I never expected that someone would be so excited about a workout application as you were. And you said you love it.
Okay, yeah, I guess I love it. Whatever. I don't know. It's hard to make myself do it every day, but I'm learning.
I think that's fun. And I've been forced into many yoga classes, and I know
You have done? Oh, sure.
Sure. And I know it's a good thing. I've watched a yoga YouTube video and tried to follow along. I got so bored. But I think that's something that everyone ought to do is a little bit of stretching, a little bit of yoga.
So the thing about yoga being so trendy and so pumpkin spice basic nowadays, as well, the audience that we don't have doesn't know. I grew up on the island of Maui for my earliest childhood memories, and I have grown up standing on my head and doing yoga since I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga was absolutely a part of my life in that 70 groovy way, that groovy way of the 1970s.
Is this like when the Beatles went to India?
Probably
Suddenly you're putting
somewhat
sitar on all your albums?
Inspired. Yeah, when I was 5 years old. Yep. I was playing the sitar. So this new mindfulness yoga thing is great, but there's also a lot of conflation with exercise. That's my point. One of the reasons I feel kind of embarrassed about this app is it is not yoga. It's a workout video that is made for someone like me in that it is very low impact because I got old lady joints, and it's poses that I understand and I'm good at. But yoga is not a workout. Yoga is not a workout.
So there's 2 kinds of yoga. There's workout yoga and then there's hippy dippy yoga. And this is more of the...
Yoga is a spiritual, actual, religious practice. There's that. Then there's the yoga for the masses, which is meditation-based, basically, and getting into postures because body and mind connection. And then there is the modern age, which you accept as yoga, and your peers do. My yogi friends, my teacher friends and stuff, that's a joke. I mean, you can go and anybody in the world, and people do it all the time, go to an 8-week yoga training class and
Become an instructor.
it's like aerobics was in the 80s, honestly.
Sure.
No shade.
Might as well be jazzercise.
Correct. And that's actually my point, is that to me, this app is identical to jazzercise, which I have done and like. Jazzercise is hilarious fun. I think it's kind of burgeoning again. Are people like, is it
Coming
ironic?
back? Jazzercise is coming back?
Maybe. I've heard that. Maybe
Have
it's
you,
ironic.
Did you...
I like
were
jazzercise.
you
It's
ever
dancing.
Zumba adjacent?
No, I mean Zumba adjacent only. Adjacent.
Have you ever
is the
seen
right
one of
word.
those Zumba, like clacky belts that they wear?
I have not.
Oh my god! There's a
It's like
ton.
belly dancing?
There's an outfit, and it's got all kinds of jingle jangles. It's really a thing.
Like a belly dancing jingle jangle?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
I didn't know that about Zumba. Huh. Nope. No, but like jazzercise is the just 80s version of that, which is dancing and you feel fun. It's kind of fun. To me, this app is exactly like that. And then the way I weight it back to the budget, $60 seems insane to get a half an hour little workout that's probably, I'm pretty sure it's a cycle, by the way. There's only 12 workouts. But that's how jazzercise is. And that there is a certain comfort to that. I don't have to watch and pay attention, and now I can concentrate on my form. But $60 for a year.
In comparison to going to a class somewhere is
$60 a
a
month.
hell of a steal.
Right.
I know people that pay several $100s just to go ride a stationary bike.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So that's how I weighed it financially. The other thing that's funny is that to me, and this has been true of me for a long, long time, I mean, certainly since my kids were pretty little, the best form of exercise for me, and the only one I care about, is walk outside my door and walk. I used to run, and then my joints got beat up, but just walk. I walk.
It's the best exercise.
I walk
It's just
everywhere.
nice to know what's going on.
With you. As you may remember, I went to the Berkshires. Almost everywhere I go, even if it is for a night, first thing I do when I come and visit a cousin's house or something is I go walk your neighborhood. At Coeur d'Alene, I go visit my godmother. I walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not walking in this neighborhood where I'm staying now, and it's
also cold.
Nope, doesn't matter. That's not it. It wasn't that cold when I moved in. It's something about my phase in life. It's a beautiful neighborhood to walk in. People walk in that neighborhood. I'm across the street from a great walk-in park. You and I walked there my first night there. This is a neighborhood where people walk. People have dogs and yoga. They walk a lot. It's a lovely neighborhood to walk. Yep. Last night I did finally make myself take a night walk. It's a absolutely safe-ish urban neighbor. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the neighborhood.
So I don't understand why you're not walking.
Either. I'm telling you. I don't know. I'm in a weird place right now. I don't.
Do you just need a little impetus? Do you need a small push?
Yeah, maybe. I feel okay. It's the first time I've ever lived alone in my life. I think it's getting less like this, but I realized I leave lights on a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. Some of it is a little bit I'm living alone. Nobody's telling me to turn that light off. I mean, definitely. I've had parents and husbands and whatever my whole life telling me, we're wasting energy. Part of it is that, but part of it is I feel vulnerable, and I'm pretty proud of myself that this is so boring. In the past 6 weeks, I can take my garbage out at night now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a little bit vulnerable, feeling and scared. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that neighborhood. It's perfectly comfortable and lovely for me. One of my cousins who visited said, by not walking, are you not moving in? You're admitting it's temporary. I don't know. It's funny.
Huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting thought.
And then one thing I realized is, and as you know, we've talked about it, I feel like my productivity level is down to 60%. I'm just in grief. I'm getting a divorce. It's very normal. I understand this is a very normal process, but I feel like I sit on the couch a lot more than I ever have. And one of the things I realized is, and my homework was express your anger. Like I said, physically, just get it out. And I went, oh yeah, I'm not moving enough. I'm sort of sitting here percolating and processing, and some of that has been good, but now it's time to move. So I got myself a workout app, and back to the topic, I actually decided that was a good financial decision, because when we're ready to make a mint budget and actually figure out what I'm expending, I know it's not advisable, but I have had for the past few months this little bit of a cushion, and I'm considering it that. This money that I can spend on new microphones or whatever, a new computer, maybe rent for a couple of months is, that's take care of yourself money, and that's a little bit different than I need to make a tenable budget. I need to know what comes in and what goes out, and work that in my real life. But for right now, I've had a little bit of a gift of, I know I could invest that money in it and watch it earn for me. And that's what I was saying. I have that account that kind of, it's okay to watch it dip down a little bit. That's also satisfying to me, because I'm getting stuff that I'm not going to have to worry about. When I have to go and make a budget, I don't have to get a new computer.
Oh, sorry, what?
I don't have to get a new computer. I don't have to work into my budget for the next 2 years of my life. I've taken this little pot of money I've had as a bit of a...
Be wary.
I know.
When I started budgeting, there's always this thing that you classify as kind of a abnormal expense. You're like, I'm only going to have to do this once.
Right.
And 1 month it's new tires for your car. Another month it's a laptop. And then suddenly what you find is that you've got an abnormal expense every month. And it just happens that way. It snowballs and life happens. And, sometimes you need to treat yourself to a pedicure or whatever. But these things creep in. So that's another thing that you have to know and plan for. And it will happen.
And it's also true that, right, you know what else happens? Traffic tickets.
Why?
I'm just saying in life, I don't
Let's
get
just
them.
talk. You shouldn't. You drive a Nissan Cube. You literally cannot break a speed limit.
Okay. I'm just saying that kind of stuff, right? Or a tooth falls out.
Totally.
Yeah. You know that thing that they do for kids in school that's like Banking Town, Ameritowne?
I was sick on that day. I'm still angry about it.
Oh, I bet you are. You would have won.
I think it's like fourth or fifth grade.
If it was a competition, which it's not, you would have won it.
Everything's a competition.
So my little friend Natalie, when she did that in fourth or fifth grade, I remember her coming home, and I kind of got it in a way that I actually thought Andrew would be proud of this. It's one of those things, you get a budget, you spend your day in the town, everybody has a role. What are they called, really? Ameritowne?
It's called Young Ameritowne, as far as I know.
Okay. She was telling us about how she had proudly budgeted perfectly for her day. And then, I guess the goal at the end of the thing is to, I don't know, not to have some money left over, whatever. She had budgeted perfectly, and then she got a ticket from the Young Ameritowne mayor or whatever for leaving her plastic-coated paper cup on the thing.
Oh, my
goodness. And it put her into arrears. And I remember saying, golly, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Be prepared for those unexpected expenses.